And it's actually this truth, that we are by nature only human in our relationships, that makes it so important for us to look at our lives at times from more organic viewpoints. This is really evident when we are suffering intensely and need these relationships for healing. But it's also evident when we think about things from the perspective of communities of faith. As a faith community, it's imperative that our shared vision of ourselves and our world honor and uphold the centrality of relationship in our lives. Without this, we risk diminishing into a group of individuals who simply share a physical space for an hour on Sunday. I hope you have a sense for why it seems important for us to imagine our lives in ways that acknowledge our particular connections and our nature as relational creatures, and yet also contain some transformative possibilities. So I'm going to ask you, why not try imagining your life, not just as a journey, but also as a garden? The garden is organic, and it's a place where you and nature meet and interact. Now, I know that for some of you, reflecting and imagining in gardening and nurture metaphors will be quite a stretch. Maybe you grew up in a city apartment with no plants, or perhaps everything that's green that comes within 10 feet of you mysteriously dies. For you garden or nurture challenged people, please do your good UU mental translation. And when I say garden, don't say tomato, but please imagine more broadly. Imagine any place in nature, big or small, that appeals to you. A beautiful park in a city, an open hilltop where you played during childhood vacations, a neighbor's window box of flowers. And after you pick that spot, let's play a little bit with this idea of our life as a garden and see how it might work as a lens that allows us to focus on nurturing our relationships. For example, when I see myself as a gardener, if I get the flu and I can't get off the couch, I can accept it. I can accept that the kids just have to get themselves dinner tonight, even if it's messy and it's just chips. The gardener can weed and plant and water, but can only work with what nature gives it. And on some days, that will mean staying indoors because of bad weather. Standing in the garden, I also know I will see seasons of abundance, seasons of want, seasons of warmth, seasons of cold. When you go through a hard period with your partner, you know you're in a season of want. But you can remember, too, that seasons of abundance will wheel around again in your life. Viewing my life as a garden also reminds me of the need to plan now for sprouting, blooming, and harvest later, and of the necessity of doing the work if we are to reap the fruits. It reminds me of the importance of patience to wait on the seasons, and to let the plots lay fallow for a period so the nutrients won't be depleted and the fields can produce again. If I have lost my job, these truths are important. I need to plan for the future and do the preparatory spade work, even as I might struggle with the financial and emotional distress. I need to find the patience to also know that the sprouting and the blooming of opportunities will happen on a larger cycle of time, one not completely dependent on my own efforts. And perhaps I can even find a way to understand this period as one that replenishes me or someone I love in some way. The specialization and interdependence of the plants, insects, and birds in the garden also evoke the importance of community and how members play different but essential roles. If my physical capacities are now diminished from times past, I can know that my role in the community is still essential, even if it has changed from laborer to keeper of memory and wisdom. You have been a seeker for so long, he said. Why not become a finder? If the question resonates in your heart, stop, rest, look at the garden that is your life. Look for the buds of what you want to grow stronger. Notice where the bramble bushes are. see what brush might be cleared, and acknowledge what will not. Finally, my friends, as we explore the meaning of our lives together in this community, may the nurturing, generative power of the garden help us to increasingly support and sustain the flowering of patience with each other and ourselves, the blooming of respect for the other person, the harvest of personal humility, and the ripening of our commitment to this faith community. For this faith community can help us learn to love better and to better bless others and the world with our caring attention. Amen.